Hi guys. Um, Today you're gonna start to put your design on your board. You'll need your triangle that you have made, and you'll need your board. You can see that I've already started to put some of my design in, and we're gonna do this using the tracing paper to transfer our design. All right. So one thing about working with graphite like this is that it is pretty easy to accidentally smudge it with your hand if you're working. So you can see here I've smudged a little bit. That'll come up with eraser, but what I don't want to do is make this so smudged that I can't see my lines for when I'm going over them with my inks and my color materials. So I recommend having a scratch sheet of paper so you can just lay down over your areas that you've worked on so you're not continuing to smear them with your hands. Okay, so I know you can see that I've already started mine, but I'm just going to pretend like I'm doing my first square or my first triangle here. So what you will need to do is make sure that you've got the side that you put the pencil mark or the graphite on, and you put that face down on your board inside of one of the triangles. Really line it up to the edges. Now you can tape this down, or you can just be very careful with it, and hold it in place with your hand that you're not drawing with. So if you do decide to tape it, I recommend just a tiny piece of Scotch tape. This tracing paper is very delicate and it will tear if you're not careful, so I like to just hold it down. If you're worried that it's going to move, tape is a good choice. All right. And I use my scratch paper to cover up the parts of the drawing that I've already worked on, so I'm not smearing them. I'm going to take a minute to make sure my drawing is aligned down here before I get started transferring. Okay, and it looks fairly aligned, so I can go ahead and start. So all you need to do, the graphite is on the back side of this paper, and all I'm doing is I'm pressing down hard with my pencil on the back side of the drawings, just tracing over the lines. The drawing will only transfer where you've got graphite or pencil on the other side of the paper. I can lift this up and show you, see? So my key is transferred to my paper because the graphite is here on the other side, and I'm pushing on it from the back, and it's soft enough so that it'll transfer to the page. You're gonna see what I mean here. It's kind of hard, especially when you've done a couple of these, to know what you've drawn over. So be kind of methodical about moving through your whole drawing. I kind of go like right to left, top to bottom, to make sure that I'm getting all my different marks transferred onto my design. You can also pick it up and peek and make sure you're transferring everything. If you think that you've already traced it but you're not sure, I say go ahead and trace it again if you don't know for sure that you've already traced it. Sometimes if you tilt your head, you can see, I guess, the shininess where you've put new graphite on the page versus older graphite. Sometimes you can see a difference that way. And there's a lot of different little hairs for this bat, so if I don't get every single hair, it's not going to be the end of the world, but I want to make sure that I get the major details of my forms. I want to take time to trace them as accurately as I can. for the transfers, just so I'm sure to get every part of the drawing down. You can see I've gotten there. I still need to add the keys as well. I have to just line it back up here. There we go. Okay, so there's one piece done. So I've traced it on. The next piece over in the sequence, I'm going to want to mirror image this design so that it reflects it perfectly. If I don't want to put it on in the same way that I had it on before, I don't think I can possibly. even have it on the same way I had before. I want to make sure I flip it over. So this is a mirror image of the square that I just completed. So I started, for instance, here, right? I'll flip it over and I'll trace the back side of this on this side. And then for the next one, I'd flip it over again, and I'd flip it over again, and I'd flip it over again, until finally I trace my last piece on. All right? So, again, before I trace this one, I need to make sure that it is lined up as a mirror image. So it is right now. You can see, pay attention to things in the, that meet along the center line. See this key? The two tips of this key touch here, and they go in opposite directions. I can see that's the way I want it to be. I don't think, yeah, I couldn't even trace it in the first way that I did it because it won't fit. I guess really the only way I could mess up is by turning it upside down. I don't want to turn it upside down. I'm just trying to make a mirror image so it fits together. All right, so start with your first one, next one flip, the next one flip, the next one flip. When you start tracing, be sure, when you start tracing at the bottom, just take a quick peek and make sure that your graphite is transferring, so that you know for sure that you're drawing on the right side of your paper. The graphite should be over here, and when you push down on it, on this side, the graphite will transfer. And because you're drawing on this side this time, when you flip it to the other side, the graphite will be on this other side. So I'm using a pencil to do all my tracing with. So don't use a pen or anything for this process, or it will mess it up. Use only a pencil. Okay, so give it a try. You want to fill up your whole circle. Take breaks. Don't forget to use your scratch paper to cover the things that you've already done, so that you don't really smudge your drawing. If you get some smudges, you can just carefully erase those. All right, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.